We knew we had to do some rehearsing for conventions, and we knew we had gigs last summer. So what we thought we would do is do some jamming while we were rehearsing for those, and you know, while we were getting prepared for tours and conventions, we could still carry on jamming and essentially get the seeds together for this album.
And we did that in a relaxed way, in so much as at the beginning of the jamming process, we didn't really imagine any kind of a date when the next album would happen.
Before we actually started doing the arrangements, we had hundreds and hundreds of jam ideas, you know. And Mike would say to us, right, go home and listen to them all, pick your top 10.
We've got a SoundCloud account that we all share. There's hundreds of bits up there, and we listen to them, and we were pulling together, because you know, with SoundCloud you can create a playlist. So, you know, I'd have my top 10 playlists, and Pete would have his top 10, which is usually 50 things.
Pete had a sort of top 300.
I did have a lot, yeah. I mean, it took me, I spent the best part of 2 weeks just listening to all the ideas.
Also, for the next record, you know, we have that archive of really strong music, some of which we haven't even touched yet. So it's it's very positive for the future as well. Providing people like this album, of course. They might hate every note of it, in which case, oh well, what can you do?
Our wide eyes are not so weak.
I think real world helps, even at this stage where we're pretty far along the road for the writing and arranging. It just helps to completely focus. I mean, apart from the technical aspects, where it's an amazing place to work, it just really focuses on the job at hand.
I think the real world atmosphere is one where we all really immerse ourselves in it, I suppose. You know, you immerse yourself in the music all day. Real world, we all know we're there for a reason, and it sort of takes us back to how it used to be when you used to go to a recording studio to record, and everything else took second place. And so that's a nice position to be in, but these days we couldn't do it for months at a time because our lives would probably fall apart, you know.
We can never be sure.
Everybody's enjoying being around each other at the moment. I mean, we usually do. And that always makes it easier to work. And so the creative process here this week has just been blissful. We've got a lot of great stuff, more than we'd imagined.
Different shades of green.
The idea was, now that we're starting to think in terms of marrying visuals and movies with the live performance, and that's really been inspired by the amazing job that Simon and the team did for The Invisible Man, which is a really astounding and powerful piece of live projection. we thought we would need a movie for each one of these songs.
Really make the films, and then out of those films, we pulled the artwork out of that film work. So the whole thing has been geared up towards having, screen media at the end of it.
For me, I think for everybody, that's going to be a really good thing because it's added another dimension to our stage show.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, doesn't it, for a band like us to do that, because our songs are so widescreen in the first place. We are a band whose music is very kind of redolent with imagery, textures and stories. We're not a pop group, so it's not about having as many lights flashing as possible so the kids can jump up and down. It's about a journey, it's about a trip.
My lost girl.
With a lot of these tracks on this album harks back a little bit to the more cinematic approach of something like Gaza on the last album, where it's quite sort of episodic. It doesn't follow a conventional song structure, but that gives you scope to create something incredibly powerful and interesting. So yeah, the keyboard and guitar changes, the way that the band, the music flows from one section to another, and reinforces the power in the lyric. I don't know any other band around making music that would do what we do.
These have become much more what people are going to call progressive, because they're pieces of music that just keep evolving and following, and aren't going to work as verse and chorus. A lot of these songs don't really have choruses at all. Don't know if they've got verses. What does that leave?
That's the thing I'd say about this album. It's got some great musical pieces, moments, passages, loads of melody, which I'm really pleased with. That's what excites me about music. I want to hear, great changes between pieces and melodies and sounds. So I think we've achieved that with this album.